Around the NFL podcast. Disappoints at open mic night.
From the Chris Wessling podcast studio, it's the Around the NFL podcast. My name's Dan Hanzus. Joined by Gregg Rosenthal. Marc Sessler, Tuesday show, baby. A lot to get to, but I want to introduce a new friend of the show, new friend of NFL Network, a woman who, I mean, she's changing things. Let's put it that way. She's changing the way the industry operates. Oh. And she hosts a television show. Gregg's on it. Maybe she'll overpower him in time, and it'll be her show alone. Oh. She's also a Browns fan.
Maybe Dan will learn the name of the show.
It is NFL Game Day View. Rachel Bonnetta, welcome to the Around the NFL podcast.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for having me. I don't know where you were going with that, but I was really excited about it.
So, Rachel, first of all, so great to have you here.
Thank you.
I got a text shortly after your arrival at the network from an old friend, Dave Damashek. Hey, fella, you gotta get this Bonnetta involved. Really good. It's really funny. So you could thank Dave for this, which I don't know if it's a gift or a burden.
It's absolutely a gift. I'm such a fan of all of you guys. I just met you 2 seconds ago, and we're both big Brownies fans. I can probably learn some things from you. But, yeah, Damashek is great. Every single person that I've run into in this building said the same thing.
That's
so
funny.
I feel like I've got a reputation already. But
I got a similar text from Damashek. It was the exact same language that he said, Dan. So it didn't feel.
It's actually starting to be.
That's a little weird.
Almost weird.
Oh.
You know what is also a little bit weird, and you should know this, Rachel, because yes, Marc is a Browns fan.
Yes.
But
I wore my socks for him today.
Yes, and that's all nice, and that's a great gesture. But you're not the only.
My socks.
You're not the only Browns fan in the building, and it's a little bit on Marc's radar that there are too many Browns fans connected to NFL media. So there is, Gregg, would you say there might be a level of tension? Just a little tension?
Well, because he looks at, like, okay, the producer's like, got to have someone to talk Browns today. And they're like, Joe Thomas and Hawkins and Chris Rose. Siciliano. Now Bonnetta's in the mix. And, it makes Marc less special.
They need to call Marc in before they call him.
Right. My problem is mostly with Joe Thomas. And, he and I can, we can get into that at a different time.
Here's the thing. Can I just say one thing as a disclaimer? I know that it is so annoying that I'm a Browns fan because I've just only been a Browns fan for the last few years. And you, sir, have been through some pain. Okay? I experienced like a tic-tac of pain, but not what you have. And now I get to enjoy some exciting years. So
on the other hand, he
I just
grew
want to
up
say
in
I know
like
it's annoying.
Connecticut. So
well, then what the heck?
A leafy suburb.
I picked them by choice, so it wasn't in a tic-tac of pain. I don't wish on you either. So it's like it's not easy. It still isn't. And the idea that people in my lifetime were jumping into the Browns experience, by choice is special.
Exciting.
And if I knew that would have come back in 2017, I think you're sort of like a flag bearer on that front. So.
Like you said, I am changing the game.
You're changing the game in a lot of ways. Marc wasn't totally sincere though. Marc, there's a pain and an anger inside. It might come out later in the show.
I mean, the way the show works is, especially when a new person comes on, Gregg will, he'll cook up 4 or 5 pot shots. Then Dan will, and they'll force me into some sort of like angry lather, and I'll go at them, and you'll enjoy it. So
we need other people for that.
I just saw his skin tone like turn redder and redder when he was saying that.
Good for you! All right, so Rachel's here, and it's awesome. And yes, Rachel, Canadian.
I am.
I bet a lot of people don't know that.
Look at that.
Really? I
out
feel like
there
I
now.
talk about it too much.
Well,
but yes, I am.
For the listeners of this show that weren't aware. So there was a time when Rachel picked a team. It was the Brown. And along those lines, where we are right now in the NFL season, where we are as our own fandom, as everyone knows that listens to the show, I'm in a very dark place with the Jets right now.
Oh.
What if you were picking a fan base or picking a team right now?
I'm not doing that.
What was that?
I am not doing that.
All right, I don't need that. If we were picking a team right now, who would you pick? And we're all going to kind of share some thoughts on. I'm legitimately angry. Okay. It was not a good Sunday. So we're going to do that, and Rachel's going to help us out because Rachel actually has real-world experience as an adult woman. You went through it all.
Second time you've called me an adult woman.
A woman
I think
is
in
an
the last
adult,
5 minutes.
It's a little strange.
Everything's strange. You made
Should I
that
put
decision.
that in my Twitter bio?
Yes, as an adult woman, you made the decision to go with the Browns, and we're going to make a decision as adult men, and you're still a woman. Also, Thursday night football recap of Thursday night preview, I should say. Packers, Cardinals, and you know what? The schedule makers, they didn't think this was going to happen. They don't want to give the NFL Network a Thursday night game at this level. They thought, the Cardinals will be an okay team.
It's a Fox game, though. It's Fox.
Okay, but it's still, what it's
once they switch it off, they start going big.
All right, schedule maker.
I appreciate where you're going with this.
Thank you. All right. You're right. It's technically Fox, but NFL Network's all over the coverage. Yes or no?
I'm saying they have the NFL Network games early that go against baseball, and they give you Jaguars in that.
You, Greg.
But what about
once they get to this time of the season, they're going big. The number one show on TV.
Dan, would you like me just to assassinate you right now, right here in the middle of the show?
I would like to see it.
Just to cap this.
Okay. Anyway, Thursday night, it was supposed to be a okay Cardinals team with a great quarterback against the great Aaron Rodgers. Instead, we get two of the best teams in the league, and we're going to preview that game. And we got Monday Night Football to recap and put a cap on Week 7. But before that, I just want to play a couple things real quick, a little catch-up. We didn't have a chance to get to it on Sunday Night Show, but can we get the Jerry Sandusky, not that one, WBAL Ravens play-by-play man and his partner reacting to something crazy going down in the booth? You got that, Ricky?
Tyler Boyd has it for a short gain out to the 34-yard line. Again, impressive coverage by Anthony Avery.
What are you doing?
If you were listening, you heard Femi say, "What are you doing? What are you doing?" He was not talking to the players or the coaches. We actually had a fan who was trying to climb into the broadcast booth. She said, "I'm a veteran and I'm looking for a drink."
Yeah, I don't serve drinks at the game. I might make some cocktails at home, but this is not the right time or place.
You just never know what's going to pop up or who's going to show up on game day.
Two things that were awesome about that. One, when Sandusky says, "Hey, what do you do?" or his partner says, "What are you doing?" and then there's a long pause. We cut it down there. So if you're a listener, like you tuned in to listen to your favorite team, you don't know what happened at that point. What's going on in that booth? A lot of mystery. And then the lady popping in, the woman popping in.
Adult.
The adult woman popping in
over
and
18,
saying,
over 21.
I'm a veteran. That's pretty ballsy. You got to respect that.
Wow.
I do. I don't think it's like I feel like 40% of my friends at some stage of spirits within you might be capable of a similar attempt. Non-veterans, not they are adult males, but like maybe climbing into a booth. I think.
Also, what is this like? Mad Men? Is the booth in Baltimore have like a full liquor cabinet, or what's going on?
Doesn't everyone
with that?
have like one moment in their lives that they've done something like this, or is it just me?
I did.
There was one time I was at
one is.
There was one time that stands out. There was probably a few. There was one time I was at a Drake concert and I had to get. There was just too many people on either side of me, and I was on the floor, and I wanted to get out to go get a drink, and I stepped on the wrong part of a folding chair, and the chair closed on my leg.
Oh no!
That sticks out to me. This woman is. This was her folding chair moment.
She's been through some things.
She has used that veteran card a lot. Look, we love the veterans.
Yep.
Marines.
Love the
big
Marines.
Time sponsor of our TV
Freedom
show.
fighters, bro.
But that's a step too far using the V card. Like, that's not the time for it.
Yeah, well, that's typically not how I've heard the V card.
Was it a panic V card?
It's like every once in a while, Chris, our great friend Chris Wessling, he would break out the cancer card, like when he was recovering, like including like getting in line at a bar or something. Like he wasn't shy about it, but you have to be judicious. You have to do it at the right time.
Should you, or if you have the card, use it when you want? If I had any card, I would use it whenever I wanted.
I had a particularly rough post-college breakup with a girlfriend who was up in Boston, and I was living in New York. And we all went up there, me and my buddies, because we went to school up there, a few months afterwards. And earlier in the day, I had the lunch with the ex to just say, hey, what's going on? And, like, I wanted to get back with her, and she didn't want to get back with me.
Aww.
Tough situation. So then cut to later in the night, some drinking had been involved.
Okay.
And it got –
Oh.
And I'm not saying it wouldn't have worked if we got back together, but I'm not saying it would.
Is she still out there?
I mean, she's a human woman somewhere.
Does she watch?
I mean,
an adult woman.
Dan has kids and is married.
Okay, never
so.
mind. I'm
Right.
still learning about you guys.
No,
An
it's
opportune
okay.
time for you to approach her now, but
Anyway, so things got so loose. Cut to Faneuil Hall. later that night, and I actually lifted an entire bottle of Jack from behind the bar. And it was kind of a legendary thing amongst our friends. But had I been caught doing that, the beating of all beatings from a Boston bouncer would have went down. That would be my veteran moment.
I think you say, dude, I just went through a bad breakup. That's your breakup card.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be a
they
B
break
card
my
for
skull.
you.
I thought it was going to be a B card, too.
Yeah.
B card, V card, C card, all sorts of cards. One other thing, we need to update the situation with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers fan who was rewarded for giving up Tom Brady's 600th TD. This was a hot point of debate between Gregg and Marc on Sunday's show. And, I had mentioned, it seems a $1,000 gift card he got, which is basically, here, we'll give you money to be a walking billboard for us. And it didn't seem like that good a prize for giving back Tom Brady's ball. But it turns out he got a lot more than that, okay? So a team source told ESPN that Byron Kennedy, who was sitting in the end zone, got the ball, will receive 2 signed Brady jerseys, a helmet, another jersey autographed by Mike Evans, and Evans' game-worn cleats. Brady also told the Mannings on the Manningcast that he promised Kennedy that he'd receive 1 Bitcoin, which had a value of more than $62,000 as of Tuesday morning. So in the end, everybody kind of wins. Like, the Bucs look like an amazing organization, and Brady is cool, and the fan is giving and also receiving. Everybody wins, Rachel.
No, I'm out on this.
You're
He's
out.
like, I was watching him this morning. He was like negotiating. This is an important moment in Tom Brady and just football fans' lives. Give the ball back. Don't negotiate for a Bitcoin.
Well, he did give the ball back
you
right
know
away.
who you're dealing with. First of all, this guy, he was holding like a house in his hands. He could buy a house with that ball.
Sure.
Tom Brady has literally everything he could want. What is one extra ball? And then you have to watch on the Manningcast, Brady goes on there, and Brady, while he pointed that out, and the guy got 2 years of season tickets too, which is significant.
This guy really
Brady pointed out, like, his problem was he just gave the ball back immediately and then started negotiating. It's like, I had him where I wanted him then.
What a savage.
Brady's ruthless. Like, what does he need with another ball?
I think it would just
another thing for his little trophy case. He can have anything he wants.
He says he doesn't
in the
keep a
world.
lot of stuff, so maybe this was important.
Wait, you're saying he should not this is Gregg again.
No, he should
caring.
want it. I'm saying the guy, if he wanted, like, if Brady is saying the smart move would have been not to give it to me, I trust Brady in this scenario. Like, I don't need him to do anything out of goodness of his heart.
But this is why you give things to a small child, not like a sentient man looking to become rich.
Adult man.
Now you got Bitcoins going on. Please.
All right. Good stuff. We're all caught up. Let's do some Monday Night Football.
They got 7 deep in the secondary, drops back in the end zone after the snap, gets away from pressure, runs in the end zone, stops, plants, throws, far side. It's almost intercepted, incomplete at the 20. It goes over to New Orleans on downs, and this baby is over.
Kevin Harlan with the call. Geno Smith had 3 chances. In 3 weeks to be a hero, he's still a C. Sorry, Gregg. 13-10. Saints over Seahawks. Geno takes 2 sacks, throws an incompletion on 4th and forever, and the Saints defense holds. Go on to win in a very, very tough football game to watch, a game that didn't have a lot of action, didn't have a lot of elite quarterback play. But, Greggy, in the end, the Saints got another win. They've got 4 of 6 now to start their season.
Yeah, we can get to the Geno of it all maybe in a minute, but the Saints have kind of shown they're going to beat up on anyone that's not a great quarterback. Like, Taylor Heineke had his worst game of the season against the Saints. Mac Jones had his worst game of the season by far against the Saints. Aaron Rodgers, who is a great quarterback, had his worst game of the season against the Saints, and it was impressive to see, like, Demario Davis be this good. Marcus Davenport, who returned and add a lot of juice to that group. Marshawn Lattimore gave up the big play early, but then, did much better.
Last night.
He was on one last night. This is, like, not many defenses matter. They came in 3rd in DVOA. Like, they are a rare defense that matters, and that's going to give them at least a chance, and I think get them to the playoffs.
Is it my turn? I don't know what you're talking about. No action happening. Did you not watch Pete Carroll throw his piece of gum on the ground? I don't think I've ever seen somebody so mad that they threw their piece of gum I feel like, are you guys?
He chomps hard.
I know he chomps hard.
He's elite with his
turned
gun.
it into a
ugly
solid
games every once in a while because it's like chill. It's like you just want every different type of flavor in these games, and it was close. You didn't know it was gonna win. It was ugly. I think it helped that I was watching the Manningcast, but I'm saying. To me, it was enjoyably weird and ugly, like to watch Geno Smith and Jameis go back and forth in a monsoon at first, and there's like no scoring. They're like, I realized as I'm watching this, this will never happen again.
Speaking of Jameis, if you want to live on the wild side and maybe you're not into like bungee jumping and all that stuff, take Jameis no picks and just see what happens in the night. Because I was on my seat, the edge of my seat a few times. I think that, you know what? I just feel really bad.
You got away with it.
I got away with it.
That was your write this down, which is
that was my write
very
this down
similar
last
to
week.
The lock segment
on this show that we have on Friday. It's called Game Debut.
Game Debut. Her lock was Jameis Winston doesn't throw a pick, came through.
That's pretty good.
Legion of Boo. They're not going to do it.
That's pretty good.
Well, it almost happened, I think, a few
times. The last time someone fired a ball at Jamal Adams and it smacked him in the face mask as if he had never seen a football before. They're not exactly ball hawks over there in Seattle. Here's the thing, Greg. I did not love it as much because I think
love is strong for what I.
Yeah, I did not like it as much because I think back to a Saints-Seahawks primetime game, and I think about Drew Brees and Russell Wilson, and they're slinging it back and forth. And I thought it was interesting, Mark, how you had Drew Brees on the Manningcast, and he is searching for the right way to put it, but it is very hard for him to watch Jameis Winston running his offense. And I just think these are we know Geno's not Seattle's quarterback, but I don't think Jameis Winston is the quarterback of the future for New Orleans either. So it just was kind of a rough watch. No running game really to speak of, no passing game to speak of, a lot of mistakes and unforced errors. This one is good in the rear view for me.
Total stopgap action at quarterback on both sides. I can't help but just think about, years from now, will this game have any meaning on the development of myself as a person, who I am? The answer is absolutely not.
Is that how you look at sports events?
I mean,
it's hard to, but I do.
When was the
I believe it, actually.
Browns game that would be a yes to?
Well, I don't know, Greg. I guess when the Seahawks are operating at 4 yards per play and the Saints at 4.5, and we're watching a flat earther go 0 for 2 on primetime football 2 weeks in a row, it's a little bit distasteful for me. I'm feeling good, though. We have a thing. We fork teams when we don't believe in them anymore. If they're not going to make the playoffs, you got to do it early.
You put a fork in them?
I forked the Seahawks a solid week ago. And
you're in good shape
because we're meant to agree. And were I to lose that bet, a meetup group of My Little Pony Friendship is Magic bronies would receive I don't know how much money, a Bitcoin maybe.
One Bitcoin.
Yes.
But I'm not going to be contributing anything because this team is multiple thousand games out of first place right now and heading nowhere. And I think Pete Carroll said it best, that were Russell Wilson not in his life, he would have been ejector seated out of Seattle a decade ago.
Here's the case for Seattle getting back into this. First of all, the back end of the NFC, not too hot. The front end, loaded. Big-time teams. There's 5 big-time teams. Then there's some wiggle room and an extra wild card spot as of last year. They get the Jaguars next, then a bye. So just beat the Jaguars. Just beat the Jaguars with Geno.
Russ is back.
Get Russ back.
Russ comes back against Packers and then Cardinals, right?
Oh, yeah. So you get the Jaguars, you get a bye, then you're at Green Bay, home Cardinals, at Washington. So you don't come back with a soft schedule, but if you come back with Russ and get some things fixed up, Rachel, then maybe they have a chance to get back in this thing.
Are you guys all, I know you're married.
Yes,
all
married.
Okay, all married.
We're learning so much
So
about
you know
each
when
other.
your partner leaves maybe on a work trip and you're like, oh my God, I don't know how to work the laundry machine. I don't know how to make toast. Maybe
she leaves. She does.
Am
that,
I projecting? That's what my
Monday
boyfriend
through
does.
Friday
Yes.
most
Okay,
weeks. So.
that's what I feel like happened with this Seahawks team being down Russ. All of a sudden, everyone's just like, oh, Russ has been carrying this team for so long, and they had so much drama last year. Is Russ going to leave? Is he going to stay? What's happening? He's going to come back to this team. Hopefully they get a win against the Jags, but it's already kind of been a little bit of an icky situation this year. He's going to come back to a team that is not flying high with confidence. I know I've seen his little pregame routine where he's out there, and it's the saddest thing in the world.
It's the funniest.
I got to say it's the saddest thing in the world. So I feel like he's going to come back with a pep in his step, but I just don't know.
He's not self-aware.
I don't think it – I think – well, there's a camera right behind him. I think he
Right.
just doesn't care because he's so into it. And I don't know if I respect that or if I'm embarrassed for him.
I think it is both for the cameras, but in the mindset of a Russell Wilson, life it should be led in front of the cameras. So like it's genuine but also forced at the same time. He's got like a weird thing going on.
Maybe in that 2-minute drill though, he actually can like throw the ball on first down or second down. And so that's the thing about Geno. Like we know who Geno is. He hasn't played above where we expected in these 2 weeks. He's looked like an average backup quarterback who's going to struggle against the Saints and Steelers. But they are not putting him or any quarterback in Seattle, including Russell Wilson, in a position to succeed. They ran against 8-man boxes. Mina Kimes pointed this one out. I think 11 times in this game. They averaged 1 yard per play. They were going run, pass all throughout. Now, Geno, it's not like he engendered confidence, but if you're going to just keep putting him in 3rd and 9s and 3rd and 10s, like, of course he's going to be terrible against one of the best pass defenses in the league.
This is not the first head coach to do this, though, Greg. Yeah. The reason why they're playing such a conservative game plan. Right, but it's not the first time we've seen it out of the Seahawks. They have been holding Russell Wilson back with this incredibly conservative mindset throughout. And no matter what you think of your quarterback, if you believe that he struggles, the thing to do is to throw on first down and then run and to adapt to the game that is in front of you, which is that we aren't running the ball well at all, that the Saints are a dominant run defense, maybe the best in the league, and they're killing us. So it just like Peyton Manning went crazy about it. I remember when they forced the turnover and they got the ball on the 30 or whatever, in the fourth quarter, Peyton Manning says, like, now is the time. Do not set up 2nd and 9 and then 3rd and 8. And it was hilarious because that was exactly what it was. Like, now is the time to throw the ball. Do not, like, you are killing me with another 1 yard run here. Here it comes, 1 yard run.
I mean, but
another run, 1 yard run.
Right, but to Rachel's point, the spouse is away on a business trip.
Yes.
Pete Carroll is running the offense he wants to run, and it's a run-stuffing fest for the bros that love run-stuffing festivals. I mean, it's like that's what's happening.
Well, he loves it out of the Saints, though? Like, where are you? Like, get the ball to your best
I'm
players.
Just, I mean, the strategy wasn't changing at all. I agree they didn't put him in a great spot, but I think they're stuck with Geno.
Here's what I think.
Can't get them out of it, too.
Here's what I think. As bad as Seattle's been, Mark, they're going to win next week. They're going to take a bye. Russ is going to come back and win a big game on the road in Green Bay, and you're going to be nervous. That's what I think.
I would be nervous because I don't particularly want to see, even with Russell Wilson, the rest of this outfit in a playoff game. But I also don't want to be, forking over a lot of money to My Little Pony supporters.
I think.
What?
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, you mentioned Mina Kimes. I feel like she was the perfect representation of all Seattle fans this morning. I've never seen her look so sad.
She was ready.
On TV.
Well, I think on a bigger scale.
My heart broke for her.
On a bigger scale, I think this could be the end of the Pete Carroll run, and that's the whole idea. Is like if he doesn't have a boss, he's been running this organization essentially without ownership since Paul Allen died, and at some point, someone's going to have to make a decision. Do we let Pete Carroll continue to run it, or do we try to keep Russell Wilson? Because it's probably one or the other.
You guys are writing the obituary too soon. Mark my words.
Older,
by the way, the Saints, I think, will be in that playoffs. I think Jameis played a lot better than you're giving him credit for. He missed some throws for sure, but Traquan
I didn't mention Jameis.
Right. You said two, just ham and eggers that are going to be replaced. Which is
I didn't say ham and eggers.
You said what? What did you say? Replacement
level?
I called Geno a flat earther who's 0 for 2.
Not long-term.
He's a stop. Yeah, Jameis is a stopgap.
Did you hear?
I could see Russell Wilson on the Saints next year.
Right.
Did you hear Eli just ripping his hair out over the missed screen pass? At the end of the game, he's Jameis. He's still Jameis.
I just mean he's throwing back-to-back go balls to Kevin White, who's still in the NFL, and Kenny Stills, 2 perfect throws. Traquan Smith stops on a route early. That's the Jameis experience, is you kind of need one of those 3 throws to come through. All 3 were on the receivers. He has a great 2-minute drive at the end of the first half. He's not great, but he's an average starter roughly this
when
year.
I say stopgap, it's because I would imagine that anyone running the show in New Orleans is thinking, do we definitely want to do this next year with Jameis Winston?
No.
Absolutely not. That's called a stopgap. It's a 1-year thing they're trying to figure out.
I do want to throw in the Manningcast talk because this is the first time I actually gave it a long view, like from Brady.
Did you like it?
It was amazing.
Yeah.
I think it was perfect for this game, which wasn't I think you pay a little less attention to the game, which it could be good or bad. It's a totally different viewing experience. I thought the Brady quarter was like one of the best hours of live TV I've ever seen.
Whoa.
Well, to the point where you're like the game.
I was
The game
sometimes
was.
to see the Gregg hyperbole coming from a mile away, and I was like, he's going to do it. Is he really going to say
That's
ever?
a weird thing
It's
to
the
say.
best TV ever. Is it
I'm
coming?
saying okay, sports TV.
All right, what was better,
about.
the pilot of Friday Night Lights, the TV show,
I said
or
live
Tom Brady on the
sport,
Manningcast?
No,
live
you didn't
sport.
say live. You
I
didn't
said
put that in there
live,
the first time.
I
That was a
said
Freudian slip. You said best hour of
I said
television.
live
did.
TV. I said live, like a live. So basically,
Did you
that's
hear
SNL.
I know Gregg is like a misquoting machine right now. I can't even
I
keep up
promise
with what's
you.
happening.
Go ahead.
Because first of all, they got better answers and him being natural than anyone ever. They're giving him a ton of grief. He's giving it back. And the key thing is when they don't have a guest or when it's a guest like Brady, unlike Breeze, who is not a good guest, they gave more salient and interesting football analysis than entire 3 hours worth of basically every other broadcast there was. I mean, by far,
Stories are always great.
It's
and
great,
the game
but
analysis and like how they're breaking down that defense and the fact that like he had been breaking down Paulson Adebo this week because he's playing the Bucs. Like you don't get Brady talking about a defense that he's about to play with all this stuff and like he knows how many snaps Bradley Roby's taken. He's telling you what not and what not.
All right, who shot JR or that hour of?
I said live TV, and I should have thrown
Go
sports.
ahead, Marc.
No, I would just say like Eric and I, we've watched them, we've tracked them heavily, and we were talking. It was my least favorite Manningcast of them all. So I would suggest if you
Was
have
it your
time.
least
What was your
favorite
number
hour
one?
of television
Oh,
you've
yeah.
ever watched?
It is so much better than like 99% of like broadcaster A and B like exchange hideously
100%.
clunky jokes. But it was of the episodes so far the least inspired. I thought.
Agree.
Can I say that I think that what makes that show really good is for games like that. For me, my experience with the Manningcast so far is I check in for about 45 minutes to an hour, and then I go back to the telecast because I feel like you're a little disconnected when you're on the Manningcast in terms of the moment of the game. But in a game like that where the game stinks and you're not really that invested in either team, that's where I was coming from. That I was just settled in with them. I was just like, let's. And then my dad, who's old school, he's at the house right now, and he's like, Danny, what is this? Like, well, I don't understand. Like, they're just talking. What are they talking about?
Danny.
I was like, Dad, they're just talking. They're just shooting. That's it. They're just talking the game.
Yeah, my child was like,
Oh
what
my
is
God!
This?
Somebody just fall in
That's
here?
Colleen Wolfe's music. Let's take a break.
Colleen
Hi.
Hello.
walked in.
Hi, Connie.
Still doesn't know you need to be on microphone after all these years.
Hi, Connie.
Cool
How are
shirt.
you? Connie, do you want to? Yeah. How are you, by the way?
Hi.
Good to see you.
What's happening?
So, are you on the Tuesday show anymore, or what?
I want to be.
You do.
I do.
You do, because my producer Erica she's been saying a lot of no's lately when we check in on you.
Well, see, the problem, if we did the show in studio, then I'd be able to be on the show. But I got to drive in here after, and then I miss it because you guys have already started. So
I don't think I've met a busier person than Colleen.
We lost you, I think. I think we lost her.
No, I'm here.
We got her.
I'm late. I'm just a little late, but I made it. You guys are still recording, right?
We have not gotten to the TNF.
We
preview, right?
stopped about 30 minutes. We've just been chit-chatting.
Yeah, if you wanted to swing back, I don't know if we have the mic set up, but it is great to see you.
It's great to see you guys. I plastered myself on the glass over here
Was
a
that
few
you?
minutes ago. Only Bonnetta saw me, so I figured I should just walk in instead. So you guys get back to what you're doing.
Right.
I just want to say hello, see how everybody is.
That's your
checking in.
mom.
Y'all
we just
look
heard
great.
from my dad. That's your mother. All right.
I love you.
There she goes. The great Connie
Bye, pal.
Box, the tiny box, Colleen Wolfe. All right. That was nice. Anyway, good stuff. Yep, the Mannings are doing a good job. They found a niche. Good for them. All right. That's Monday Night Football. Let's do it. Let's pick a fan base from scratch. And this segment hits home a little bit for me because I was just ranting about the darkness of being a Jets fan. I'm not doing that. I feel like I am not doing that. I feel like it's been a time where of self-reflection. And Matt Money Smith on my program, the Power Rankings, my satellite show, played back the end of the episode where I lost it about the Jets and said, "Oh, that's so silly that you would even think to bring your sons into your own sports fandom." I'm legitimately angry. And and I'm not. I am not going to make my sons be Jets fans. I'm going to let them do whatever they want. That was always the plan. It's disgusting. But now I'm actually going to push them away and say, do what you want. So when I do this exercise with you guys today, I'm actually going to do it with Jack and Harry in mind. And what we're going to do is go through I don't know, whatever your thought process is heading into the show. For instance, Marc, what was your thought process on how to pick a fan base or a team from scratch?
Well, I really struggled with it, and I have a unique solution on how I'm going to.
Do we want to stick a pin in it, or do you want to say
I think we should stick a pin in that
All right.
for the moment.
All right, so Miss Bonnetta.
Yes.
Now, you said you have a boyfriend, so I didn't say Mrs.
Yeah.
See, we're learning about each other.
Yeah, we're learning things.
It could be a common
all
law
adults
situation, but
yes.
Not.
I think so. Yeah, we've been together for like over 6 years. Is that a real thing in America?
I think you can vote together, or you can.
That's a thing in Canada. I think if you're together for over 5, you're common law.
I think it's 10 here.
Is it 10?
10.
You're in a significant relationship on a long-term
Patriots
scale. How did you do it? How did you decide on the Browns?
I was starting a brand new show, and I had really only covered the other kind of football in my career, soccer, and I had just gotten back from Russia covering the World Cup, where I almost died. Story for another time.
Try to steal a bottle of Jack Daniels.
No, I didn't. No, I'm not
from
you.
Moscow.
I wasn't suffering a heartbreak in Moscow. And when I got back, I got this new show, and it was all about American football, and I really just kind of wanted to dive in. Grew up in Canada. My house always had hockey on it. Whatever. And that was the year that the Browns were on Hard Knocks, and I just fell in love with Hugh Jackson, and Baker was such a character on that show. And I was like, this team has a beer fridge that's locked because they've just not won in forever, and they're gonna unlock it and give everyone beer when they win. Like, that sounds right up my alley.
Wow. So that was coming off 0-16.
That's what he said. It was a tic-tac campaign. They were still pretty bad that first year.
So
it was exciting that Baker came back in.
Started.
I did, yes. I chose them. I was like, okay, I'm all in. This is such a fun team with lots of personalities. If Baker leaves, gonna have to find somebody else to fall in love with. And then they just had such a fun year. Tyrod Taylor goes down. Baker comes in. They win. The beer fridges get unlocked. The rest of the year was like touch and go. Year 2 was not very good. Last year was so fun.
A solid 7 or 8 games of Gregg Williams as the head coach. People tend to forget that. That was exciting.
He's pretty good. But so that's interesting. So you've felt the pain. It's been a nice little sample the last 3 or 4 years for the Browns. So you didn't have to deal with 0-16, but you have dealt with some bad times as well. The Freddie Kitchens era, for example.
Yes.
All right, so that's interesting. And Marc, do you have anything to add to that?
To add, I mean, I'm proud of the choice that you made, and the Kitchens year would have been maybe enough for you to be like, people might not even remember that I picked the Browns. I could get off this and get on something more consistent.
How about that? That's a good follow-up there. Did you
No, because I don't know why. I just really like the underdog mentality. I just have always cheered for like the Patriots. I've never been a big fan of them because they've always been so bad. Now that they've always been so good. Now that they're, going through what they're going through, I'm kind of like, okay, maybe I'm going to deal with this team.
I think also Browns fandom needed some new blood, honestly, because it's a bit of a tired thing where it's like, I've been rooting for them for decades. It's been such a hard road. It's like, dude, we're tired of hearing about you and your issues as someone that vicariously lives through other athletes. Like, settle down on that. So
Isn't that your whole brand?
Well, my brand is not like the building doesn't want my brand at this point, so it's fine. But I think there is
here now?
No, there is new blood in this situation. I'm all on board. It's wonderful.
That's great.
Yeah,
chipping away.
Browns fans have been very welcoming and nice.
Right.
Nice group.
It's exciting that they have like a quarterback that's on every commercial and stuff. It's pretty different.
And the commercials are great. I don't know if that was like some kind of backhanded thing.
No, it really wasn't.
It was.
They're good.
Well, it wasn't. It wasn't.
The Alice Cooper one?
I'm not even kidding. When that commercial came on,
come on now.
The other 3 members of my family all got excited and was like, "It's a new one! It's a new one!" Like gather around. They were so excited for the new one.
Unbelievable.
But they didn't. They're kids and did not understand any Alice Cooper jokes. So that sort of.
It's good to see Coop again. It's been a while.
Neither did I, but I still appreciated that he was on.
So, this is how I did it, by the way. I did some
You made notes.
I did some notes. I took it seriously in terms of how, if I were to pick a team from scratch, how would I actually do it? And my past as a fan informs my future decision here, because I'll start right here. I am not picking a team that doesn't have stable ownership. Okay, I am not gonna pick a team that makes bad decisions and it's cyclical. So I'm not doing that, okay? Because one thing that stands out, a lot of the successful organizations have that solid base. That is a category. And I also want to look at the roster, and I want to look at the fan base and the stadium and that vibe of it all. And I want to.
Okay, so he took this seriously.
And I want
this very seriously.
Factoring in the region.
It's for the rest of your life.
In
you
which they play.
That's true.
And also ground floor.
It's for your kids.
I call it ground floor pop. So I don't want to get on a bandwagon. I want to get like where you got on with the Browns is a nice little spot. That's good ground floor pop. So you get in early before their success, and then you can kind of enjoy it as well. So I broke down, and then I had a full 12 out of the 32 teams eliminated outright for various issues connected to my own past. So that's how I did it. And then I did come down with 2. So that's how I did it. How about you, Greg? How did you figure it out?
I did not.
Really hard for you because you truly do love 27 teams.
I just thought get in with the coach and quarterback right now. That life is short. And who knows if you're going to make it to the next coach and quarterback. Who knows what's – at least lock in the next 10 years if you can with the quarterback and go from there, which leads you to certain teams that do not have good ownership. So you had to look at these teams that have a quarterback yet don't have a history of success or ownership. And in a perfect world, you don't want a team that everyone – you don't want the Packers. You don't want the Patriots. You don't want even the Bears, like with that sort of tradition. You want something a little left field.
I would be willing to bet my rental house that I could pick Gregg's team.
Yeah, you could.
But I will not. But
it's one of 2 teams. It was really just one of 2.
Okay. And are you going to pick one too, Rachel?
I don't know.
Just pretend.
Let me go last. Because I might pick something.
Pretend like you were starting over. This Browns thing had never happened.
Yeah. I thought about it this morning.
So I'll start it out. So let me just tell you. So as I kind of set it up for you, like my categories, but these are the disqualified teams. So this is coming from a Jet fan that's starting from scratch and is thinking about the boys. Okay, so disqualified. Everyone in the AFC East. I'm legitimately angry. The Patriots, the Bills, the Dolphins, obviously the Jets. They're all out. Okay. It's too close.
I'm done.
It wouldn't be right. The New York angle. So the Giants are out. I can't jump from the Jets to the Giants. That'd be a disgrace.
You already like the Giants anyway. So.
I kind of like them, but they wouldn't be my favorite team. That's not allowed. And my sons being Giants fans, and that's weird. The Browns, and I just have next to it MS, because Marc Sessler would not be about it. And I can't imagine doing a podcast where the Browns win the AFC Championship, and I'm like crowing about how exciting this is as a fan. Marc's head would explode. It's for Marc's head. That's why
I think our listeners would revolt. It would just be far too single topic.
We couldn't have more Browns content.
I eliminated the Dallas Cowboys because I'm a Yankees fan, and everyone hates Yankees Cowboys fans.
No. Yes.
Can't do it.
Correct.
Won't do it. So I eliminate that. And then my old pain rankings column. I don't want to. I've already been involved with the pain rankings team, the Jets. So I am not getting in bed with anyone that is cursed or otherwise has a sad past. So that eliminates the Chargers, the Vikings, the Browns again, the Falcons, the Bears, and the Bengals. Right. So then, okay. So
can I ask you one question?
Yes, go ahead.
Where exactly are you from?
I'm from the suburbs of New York.
Okay. That's it. That's all I wanted.
Okay. So now, next. Fun fan base, stadium pop. I like that. The Dallas, Seattle, Chargers, Rams, Cleveland, Vegas, KC, New Orleans. And of that group, Chargers and KC came out of it. I like those. I like those 2 teams.
Because most of those teams have been eliminated due to your other stipulations.
Well, the Chargers were eliminated too.
Right. So they're out. Ground floor pop, which is, you don't need it, but I'd like to be it. Okay, Cincinnati, eliminated because they're paying rankings. Chargers, eliminated paying rankings. I threw the Jaguars in here because of Trevor Lawrence and then knowing that Urban's going to get fired probably in the next 18 months.
No one could kill you for jumping on that bandwagon
now. You would get a lot of respect, I think, out of that.
Dark times.
All right, and then regional plus, it'd be good if it was a team around here. So Rams, Chargers, Raiders. Okay, so now we got the Raiders for a fun fan-based stadium pop and also regional pop. Okay, it's a quick, it's about 300 miles from here. Chargers eliminated. Generational QB, young superstar. Okay, that's the other category. I don't know if I mentioned that. KC, Green Bay, Buffalo, Cincinnati, Baltimore, Chargers, Dallas, Tampa Bay, Arizona, Seattle. Okay, all factored in.
Joey B.
Stable ownership, Pittsburgh, New England, KC, Dallas, Giants, Green Bay. And when I looked at all the circles around who checked what boxes, the Chargers check the most boxes, but it's a tortured franchise. I can't get in bed with a tortured franchise. So what was left was, and I feel like right now where this team is, it doesn't hurt. It won't be seen or frowned upon as much because people are kind of out right now. The Kansas City Chiefs.
Oh, that was disappointing.
Wait, that's who you're picking?
That's the opposite of ground floor, though.
No respect.
You're at the top shelf.
Yeah.
It's like one of the best 3-year runs, non-Patriots.
Right, which is why
in the last 30 years.
Which is why I feel more comfortable with it because maybe the best has already happened. Maybe this is going forward. But I know I still, even if they rebuild and things are trending down, I know with that quarterback, they're going to be okay. They're going to be a fun watch going forward. I know I'd love to go to Arrowhead. I know it won't clash with anybody. I know that factors in as well. I don't want to have an awkward situation.
This is a Jets fan that's desperate to just put like a Band-Aid over a bullet hole, I think.
I just want happiness for my boys.
I just need something good in my life. And I know the Chiefs aren't maybe what the Chiefs
you're picking up the Packers in like 2012, basically.
And the Packers were a team that I thought about as well. But then I thought about what Tony said in S1E1.
It's good to be in something from the ground floor.
Oh my God.
I came too late for that. I know. But lately I'm getting the feeling that I came in at the end. The best is over.
So think about that.
That's your mindset.
Packers, go to Lambeau Field every year. This great fan base, stable front office. The great quarterback's still there, but he's almost 40, and Brett Favre was there before. What are the chances they get another great quarterback? Tony, S1.
Are you a Sopranos fan?
I am.
I like you guys.
Notice how Tony, by the way, that's season 1 Tony, James Gandolfini, totally different accent.
Sounds different.
Yeah. Oh, sure.
Totally different accent. Anyway, so Chiefs, I know it's not sexy or fun. The Raiders are the other one I was thinking about, but Chiefs were the pick for me.
Wow. Raiders would have been fun. You got to question the process if it lands on.
I question your process.
I mean, you said ground floor.
I didn't say that was a category you need to check the box.
Okay.
On. I didn't say it was an
because they have the guy who's put up the best 3 years of any quarterback, I would argue, in the history of the sport to start his career. And you say you're kind of like picking them on a down cycle. I mean, they're 3-4 on the way to like 11 and their down year is going to be 11-6, winning a couple playoff games maybe.
I don't know. It's a time of adversity. I think that it shows some courage. You've jumped in during a rough patch. Yes. There's conviction on your side, and you didn't get too cute.
Hall of Fame coach,
Hall of Fame
Hall of Fame quarterback.
They had a bad weekend.
Right.
Andy is not a long-term solution there. So I'm looking at the next 40 years. I'm not looking just at the next 5 years. But with Mahomes, I know he's there and he's signed up. He'll be there another. 10,
Andy's
years.
like 5 or 6 years younger than Bill Belichick right now.
Andy was also in the hospital a couple weeks ago. I don't know if he's the coach in 10 years. Put it that way. Anyway, that's me. Chiefs. Everybody's like, oh, what a bad pick. I don't care.
You're gonna get a lot of. Well, the face that you made when he.
That was
You don't mind
way more telling.
That was
way more telling.
I think, yeah.
All right, Mark. What is Gregg gonna pick? Just
he's right.
Oh, it's I think it's the Chargers, and I'll give you my quick bullet points because you can bring your kids to Chargers games. I think that matters to you. Gregg is one of the better dads I know on the planet. That I do mean. I'm not saying that as some sort of political statement.
Some sort of political statement.
Secondly, I think that it would appeal hardcore to your employer, which matters to Gregg. And Justin Herbert and Brandon Staley are both ground floor.
That's the main thing.
Likable. Well, I don't know. Justin Herbert is not ground floor at this point, but it's also apparently. In theory, a father figure to Rachel or not?
Justin Herbert is my daddy.
Gregg, have I?
You've nailed it.
Okay.
I mean, Justin Herbert's 23, and I loved him watching him as a rookie, so I'm starting there. And then you get the Brandon Staley weekly wise thing Eddie says at his press conference that everyone tweets out, and it's like everyone's got to listen to this 90 seconds from Brandon Staley talking about what really matters.
This time it's 120.
And I like that. I want that to be my coach.
By the way, it's become I think some people have likened him to Ted Lasso, and it's the same thing with Ted Lasso. It's like, stop telling me to watch Ted Lasso. I'm not going to watch Ted Lasso.
Same.
I'm not going to watch this Brandon Staley clip. I'm sure it's inspirational. as Marc would say, have a nice day.
He's fun. But those are the two guys that matter. Now, the fact that their ownership, we got to be somewhat careful here.
Especially you.
Has struggled. I mean, they're only here in a Jets-like situation where they're the little brother, and the Rams are the big brother. It's ultimately the Rams Stadium, and they're kind of here, and they jumped along board. They've had a lot of problems over the years. It's in the same family. They don't have the same. Maybe cash that everyone does.
I'm Googling right now Chargers Stadium lease details. Think about your kids here. Think about what the Chargers
Didn't you just bring your boy to a Rams game? Doesn't he love Bobby Trees?
He does like Robert Woods. When it comes to the kids, I know that I'm not going to be able to make my kids like any team. Maybe that's where money was coming from. Like, I can certainly help push them in a certain direction. They're into the Celtics. Like, they kind of like – but ultimately, I think if I push them hard in one direction –
you don't push.
They're not going to go.
They're going to like against father.
They're going to like who –
It's a spicy house, Rams and Chargers.
They're going to like who they're going to like.
Yeah.
Ellis is already Rams for life, and I'm good with that. I'm not a Rams fan in particular, but I like that. But the whole – yeah, they're local, and Herbert and Staley. I thought about Cincinnati. I mean, the other one's the Bengals. Mm-hmm. That, to me, is the other obvious choice.
Obvious?
Yeah, those are the two.
And I know
there's something, and you're getting in on the ground floor, and there's something special with Joe Burrow.
Slow down here. Because
there's something special with Joe Burrow.
And you know what? I like it because you're thinking of West, and you're thinking of Western Ohio and everything, but –
give me something to talk about with the Wesleyan brothers.
Remember why Chris quit the Bengals.
Right.
Is ownership. Do you remember this? It's the same owner. And as hot as things are right now for Cincinnati, it's the same guy. It's the same organization. Be very careful. And it's funny to me that you're saying the Chargers or the Bengals, two teams that have a very rough history. It's very dangerous.
But there's part of me also, I'm jumping in. I am myself in this from the Patriots. That
you're playing with house money, basically.
I kind of want something that's a challenge, and that if they do win it, it will be fun to because you want to be at the Chargers game, and it's like the road team takes over the stadium, but you're trying to defend it, and you're like you're the underdog even when you're at home. There's something
I hear this from and
I love Philip Rivers.
I hear this
too,
from other
so
Patriots fans that I know out east that are like, I kind of like the idea of going through a tough time as a fan. It's really novel. For like a fortnight, for about 14, 16 days.
Well, ask Patriots
you're like,
fans.
this just sucks.
They had won 7 and 9. They're like, everything must go. We must start over. We must be champions again.
Well, Greg, who are you
like
root
Chargers
for on Sunday then? Chargers or Pats?
I mean, I am a Pats fan.
Yeah, right.
I don't think that you're like the good thing about picking other teams, and I love watching the Chargers and different teams depending on the year, is you never have that same high and you never have that same low, because I think in sports you get out what you put in. It's like if you don't watch a baseball team all year and you jump in for the playoffs, like it's fun to watch that, but you're not going to get the highs or the lows because you didn't really put in the time.
The lows make the highs feel so much better.
Absolutely. So no matter what team you pick, I don't think you're going to get it in the same gut like torture that you got from the team that you had as a kid, no matter what.
Makes you think of the old Parcells quote he used when he retired, maybe for the 14th time. He decided he had to walk away when the losing hurt more than the winning felt good.
Well, and also when he paid off his divorce.
That's
but
sad.
yeah.
I get that tattoo.
All right, Marc. Do you?
He said, "Yeah, I have no defense mechanism for losing."
I'm doing the Wahlberg and fear tattoo across my chest, just using a pen with the ink. Losing. All right, Marc. How are you going to do this, buddy?
Here's the thing, because like, not to bring up my sad Browns fandom, but the minute I jump ship, like they're gonna go 14 and 3, and
you would never.
You don't even want to have this hypothetical
to your
question.
Credit. Like Wes would try to convince you to jump ship sometimes, and you would be so against it.
But I will play.
Wes
I
would
will
kill
play.
you if
I'm
you
not
became
going to
a
just
Bengals
not
fan.
do it. Like I'll
Straight
play
up.
the game.
I can't do that.
But I'm going to use something that we've used in the past, and it's our pick an NFL team wheel. What's the name for this device?
Wheel of Destiny?
Oh, Team Generator, Wheel of Destiny. Erica is going to film it because I don't want you coming up with some sort of answer back there that's false. She's picking it from behind the glass.
Picking it on my computer, yeah.
Marc wants something.
We don't trust
He wants something for social.
Don't stick me with the Jets.
We don't trust
Marc
her.
always working on that brand.
Well, what do you mean
quietly.
stick you with the Jets? If I got Christy over my shoulder to watch,
That's
here
why.
we go.
That's why it feels
Hitting
kosher.
record.
Oh, I'm nervous. Why am I nervous?
Drag wheel, okay.
I hope it's like the Packers or something.
That's like a county fair.
I feel like it's working right.
Oh God. Oh.
The Indianapolis Colts.
Whoa.
Okay.
It was so close to the Lions. It was so close to the Lions.
You know what? I think that's
like the most
I think that's a
boring
good
team
one.
it could have landed on.
That could be fun.
I think that's
feel
good because
totally uninspired.
Dan was saying he wanted to get like something
After
they,
Sunday?
They've had their great moments and they're well after their peak. So now
I
you're
just
kind of getting in
described
at a
them on
nice
Sunday
spot.
night as if you were in a room with 32 people and they were NFL teams. Like the Colts would not catch my eye across the
well,
room
they're going
on
to be
any
on Hard
level.
Knocks, Marc.
Oh, that's
Coming
Yeah,
up.
maybe we're going to see a whole different side to them.
Yeah.
Hard Knocks like this has never
That's
been
not
filmed.
that's not canonical Hard Knocks.
Right, it's a
As the beat
mid-season.
writer,
It's a
I can tell
mid-season.
you.
You got Frank Reich. You've got
canonical.
kind of you've got ownership, which is very active and a little left of center sometimes. You've got a quarterback who sometimes forgets to pull his mask up or down, so there's like a danger element. If the unvaccinated quarterback gets in there, that's good.
I mean,
this is going to be the best hour of television we've ever seen.
Drag me to the games. Drag me to the television. I'll give it a try.
I mean, we've been in Lucas Oil Stadium. That's a nice building.
Great, good fan base. Really good fan base.
I'm glad the two of you are so excited about it.
Well, you made this decision to spin the wheel, bro.
It's not my team.
Well, you're right.
The Colts are your team.
Paying for it.
All right, Rachel, now that you've had the opportunity to see the process,
Yes.
the process,
Yes.
how are you going to do this? What are you going to do?
Okay, I think that I'm just going to go from history. I'm going to go with Gregg. I've been to 2 Chargers games this year, once against the Cowboys, and then when when Justin Herbert became my father. And I just think it's a really, kind of like what you said, you show up and it's like half Chargers fans and half Browns fans, and they're on the other side of the country, and you're like, where are all these people? That stadium belongs to the Rams. I think over the next few years, you're going to see, all they have to do is be good. And I think that they can be good. And then all of a sudden, all these people are going to start jumping on this bandwagon, and all of a sudden it's going to be really exciting. So get in now. Get in the ground floor.
Plus, like
synergy.
I know I'm staying in the AFC,
Plus,
but
there's,
whatever.
I guess Move the Sticks and money are their announcers. That's a problem. I was going to say there's not a lot of, media pop. Like, if you cared about even covering the team or doing little fun things, like when you go to a Chargers practice, it's like a small market team. Like the Jaguars have more people covering them than the Chargers.
So it's an opportunity for you to maybe
just have to be
throw the Gregg scenario.
Yeah.
I'm worried about you guys. It starts at
Chargers.
the top.
Bolts up, bolts up, bolts up, bolts down.
But
bolts
some like fun up and down drama where they kind of waste a lot of Justin Herbert, but maybe he does it in the end, unlike Rivers. Like that would be satisfying.
His skin is clearing up. Hop on board, guys.
We're getting a Chargers podcast with
board.
the two of you.
Derwin James. Yeah, that's true.
There we go.
Do that.
All right.
Bolts up.
Before we get to TNF, let's take a break. All right. There we go. We figured out our teams. So that's something.
Dan's mad at the reaction he got for the Chiefs.
What was a bad pick?
Like, why would I be mad?
I know it was kind of lame.
I'm not. I mean, the whole idea is it's a flawed premise because I already picked a team. It was the Jets. I'm never gonna pick another team. I mean, I would. So there's no way for me to
now
talk
the segment
myself
doesn't
into
work. The segment has a flawed premise. This is
you just
escape hatch
broke
out
the
of
fourth
this.
wall.
Yeah, I tried to share that. But I was trying to be a good sport about
angry.
it. I don't know how to be passionate about picking another team. I was born into it.
Yeah, will you usher the boys into this?
The boys aren't born into it, and it is a different time of I think kids picking teams. A lot of them jump around or they pick players. I think this is.
You cover football, so your kids have been
No,
literally
I'm saying
watching
all of his
every
friends.
team. Yeah, but this is LA.
They watch fantasy exactly, but that's where we live. Like LA kids a lot of times pick and choose, and I've talked with a lot of parents who don't just live here.
I've talked with a lot of kids.
Who kids are into red zone and fantasy. That's what they're into. So it makes it a little different.
I think if you live in a city, I'm a basketball fan, and the Toronto Raptors winning the championship a few years ago, I was sobbing in my chair. There was no better feeling than rooting for country pride, city pride. If your kids live in LA, they should choose a LA
I would
team.
hope they choose a team and actually fall in love with the team. Because I do think,
I hope so
to that point, the payoff is there, and that's why I can never, although I talk about it, I can never leave the Jets because I've invested so much, or the Browns with Marc. You invest so much that to get out at any point after all the suffering and miss the idea that glory could ever happen. I mean, that
it's also, if you want to grow as a person, it may be the worst investment I've ever made in anything in my entire life. Do you at some point say, but we're getting back into why we did the segment, which you don't approve of the segment, so We're done. We'll stop.
You don't approve of the segment. You absolutely did the most homework.
I did. I tried so hard to. I took it seriously.
You did it good. You did it well.
Feel it.
You're free to pick the
right.
Yeah.
It's a passionless
good
note
process,
card.
bad pick.
Yes, I went through it, and I guess I'm a Chiefs fan in another world, but that's never going to happen. So it's over, Johnny. All right, let's get to it. Thursday night football. What a matchup. Even though it's not on NFL Network, as Gregg was quick to point out, but
it is. You can also watch it.
Oh, so now it is on NFL Network. Is Colleen Wolfe prominently involved in the pre?
Of course.
And
she should
post
be.
coverage?
Of course.
She had a great jacket on last week.
So it's great.
My point is we have the
game.
ones that are our only games, and they give us the dogs.
But
those.
do you watch when it's on the dial, when you're watching it? Are you watching NFL Network or do you watch
Absolutely NFL Network. Got to support the company, plus got to check out what new game day promo they're showing this week.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
That's an important thing as well. So let us now get into the game. Packers. Okay. Cardinals, undefeated.
Oh.
We have a problem, though, and it's an annoying one. It's Davante Adams has COVID, and he's probably not playing. And he's not alone. Allen Lazard. Okay, so you talk yourself, okay, that stinks that Davante's out because he's such a big part of the offense. Well, maybe Allen Lazard will step up, something I think I said on another format on this network earlier today. Well, he's not either because he's got COVID too, I think. So a compromised version, Rachel, of the Packers will head to Arizona to face the undefeated Cardinals. Maybe they shock the world, but now I'm starting to feel like this is playing into the Cardinals' hands very nicely.
I think that this game was going to be difficult for the Packers in the first place before we had this COVID news because the Cardinals are a-rolling right now. But I do think...
Is this how you always talk?
Yes, I do. I do think that there's a chance that this is like weirdly sneaky close. It could just be a weird game. Maybe one of my favorite things about working at NFL Network is you can send an email at any damn time of the day to LA researchers, and they respond in 2 seconds. And I said, hey, I want to know how Aaron Rodgers does in prime time this morning. Mm-hmm. And they sent me a side-by-side Rodgers and Kyler Murray. Aaron Rodgers has just played so many more games. Obviously, he's played way longer than Kyler Murray. He's played so many more games on this level than Kyler Murray. I think he's only had 4 primetime games. I just feel like his experience in this space and with this team, I don't know, I just have a feeling that this could be closer than, what are the Cards a 6-point favorite? Well, I think this could be close.
I like that thought because Aaron Rodgers, he is a tremendous competitor, as we know. And the idea that he's going to go into this game with everyone talking about how the Packers are shorthanded could play right into him having like a ridiculous performance. So, I mean, even though you wish they were at full strength, it doesn't mean that they don't have a chance because Aaron Rodgers is prominently involved and he's a bad man.
He loves a chip on his shoulder.
Right. Thursday nights are totally wacky. We're coming off a Thursday night where Team A was missing all sorts of parts and throttled Team B, but Team B was the Broncos. That's different than facing Arizona. Arizona's defense has been putting heat on quarterbacks, destroyed Baker Mayfield 2 weeks ago, made Davis Mills look like a nightmare last week. And I look at the Packers, they don't have Joe Barry either, defensive coordinator. I kind of think that COVID's been bad for some of these coaches because you'll see this over and over. Coach is out, that person's territory that they coach improves or has a better game than you think. I mean, both head coaches that have been out, their teams rocked the house.
Double COVID banging.
Right, but maybe that's good for Joe Barry and this Packers defense that finally had their red zone issues figured out last week. They also gave up 95 yards on the ground to Taylor Heineke. And, Gregg, you pointed out on Sunday that, like, Kyler Murray on the ground just hasn't really been a thing this year. But if it needs to be, maybe this is a nice defense to do it against. I just wonder how you slow Arizona with all their weapons because they haven't need to run them.
I think Jair Alexander being gone has really changed the Packers defense, and they might get Kevin King back for this game, but even then you're throwing out Rasul Douglas, who you pick up, who's played pretty well for them, but Arizona just tests the depths of your secondary, and I think they were going to have big-time problems, Green Bay that is, on defense in this game anyways. Like Rodgers last week, he overcame the offensive line not playing that well. Bakhtiari might return. That would be absolutely massive for them. But they're going up against this defense who is balling. Like Chandler Jones might come back for this game. There was a stat that I think the only 3 players, to force 3 different turnovers as pass rushers are Watt, Chandler Jones, and Marcus Golden. Marcus Golden has maybe been the best guy on their front week to week of their entire team, which is crazy. They're pretty good on the back end, and they only have to make a couple of plays against Green Bay. So I don't know. I'm thinking of taking the Cardinals even to cover that 6 points.
Do you know, and I mentioned this, I failed to mention this on Sunday, that the Cardinals 31-5 over Houston was a scorigami win.
You did. Oh, you didn't.
And scorigami winners are 603 the following week. They have won 600 games and lost 3 times. Scorigami winners the following week.
Am I supposed to know what scorigami is?
Scorigami is a score that has
some
never
people are
occurred.
interested by.
It's a real thing that thinking fans are intrigued by. It is it's a score that has never happened in NFL history.
Okay. Isn't that so thrilling?
My mind is blown.
Okay, well, it's not for everyone.
I didn't like the way Green Bay looked, by the way, against Washington. They were outgained.
That's what they've been like all year, though. They end up winning by 2 touchdowns, and they don't look great doing it.
And now, but what happens when you're playing an elite team like this? So I don't want to lock up the Cardinals, but I feel very good about the Cardinals.
You're getting close to where you can't, because when Devontae Adams went out, the spread.
Did it jump up? It makes sense.
You're getting close.
Yeah, no, I won't. I'll stay off this, but I like the Cardinals, but I'd like the Bonnetta theory that, Aaron Rodgers.
He knows what everyone's saying.
Aaron Rodgers.
There is maybe something to the idea of this is a veteran team that's won a lot of games, and sometimes you need a big game to get your juices flowing. Maybe noon against Washington football team and Taylor Heineke isn't doing it for you, but Thursday night with the world against you.
The only thing that I can compare it to, I was once upon a time an athlete. Played varsity volleyball in college.
Not bad.
And we were terrible. We were really bad. And the best game that we played was against the best college in our region. And it was every other game that we played was just against other crappy teams, and we all sucked. And we really stepped up for that one.
Did your personal performance peak?
How many digs
in that showdown?
I made some spikes.
Some digs.
Made some bump set spikes.
We can't check that.
I covered some volleyball for the Journal News in Westchester County.
Sorry.
I covered some swimming and diving. Many events, Mark, that I had no idea what was happening. Boys lacrosse, had never seen lacrosse game. They sent me to cover the county quarterfinals, and I was like, oh, he shot it fast in the net thing. And I'm sure the coverage, this is the secret. If you're a youthful sports writer and they have you on crappy beats.
Oh, here we go. Listen
okay,
up.
This is very important, and this especially saved me in the state diving competition where it was like, I don't know what's happening. Just find the kid that's the best in your county. This is if you're covering states or sections. And then ask him about his family and just turn it into a human interest story. Don't even try to write with knowledge of the sport. Just like he did the double flip to win it. But it's not just about winning this competition. It's winning for his dead grandmother.
Well,
and then you get into it and you dig into that.
Yeah, you move into territory that no one can critique because you've done something nice. The first thing I ever announced on Mike was a 4-hour-long women's gymnastics meet, which outside of watching the Olympics for about 12 minutes every 4 years.
Toughy.
And I did something which was wise. There was an injured gymnast named Christine Leferati that I just sat down next to me and said, just give me some during breaks. It'd be like lines like, that girl just did something very special with that piece of equipment. But you're like, you need more ways to describe what's happening. But
she's a story. It's been so hard to watch, but also to see my teammates thrive has been special in its own way. There's a lead.
Yeah.
Then you're into hour 3 of interviewing her, and people are just like, turn the channel. If we're
every
even on this
young
channel.
sportscaster should take an improv class because that's how you.
Truth.
All right. Pull these out.
Good preview.
I do want to throw in one other random thing I heard from Cliff Kingsbury during the press conference after the game, which is that they asked him some question making light of did it really pay off that you were watching the opponent ahead, during the game or something. Remember that whole story? I'm working so hard. And they asked him some question, and he alluded to the fact that he doubled down, spending much of this last week already working on Green Bay. He was literally looking past Houston. He was saying, I did that work, so then I was I was on to Green Bay last week. They've got this game
it's pretty braggy.
Well, he's clearly
I feel like Cliff would, even if that were true, he'd find
Wait, because of course there's one thing to actually do that, And there's another thing to go out of your way to tell the reporter that you're doing that.
That's kind of on brand.
But you know what?
I would keep that to myself until I won the Super Bowl.
I'm buying it, and you gave me this idea, but I'm going to run with it. I'm going to lock up this Cardinals team.
All right.
I like the chance to do that.
You are 3-4, so
right. I'm out of it for the season.
Anyways, time seems like a nice move. Rachel, you've said it all. I mean, you've come in here and you've established yourself on the podcast, and
you also said I'm a leader in the industry.
Industry leader,
adult woman.
Adult women, but not just women, humans.
Wow.
Lots of achievements.
Like shoot up there with a bullet, as they say.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you. You want to get a plug in on anything?
That's the best way to ask for it.
Host a show on Fridays, like that kind of plug?
Yeah, sure. Anything.
With Gregg. What time is it on?
5 Pacific.
That's the one.
They show it. They show it on Sunday mornings too. People seem to.
They show it on Saturdays. They show it on Sunday mornings.
Dynamic plug.
I'm on the Sunday morning
it's
show.
Great.
That's
it's
been
fun.
fun.
You pick games.
So you do that show.
You pick the spread.
I do the Sunday morning show. I've got a pretty nice Halloween costume planned.
Oh, that's cool. What's Eisen like on the show?
Lovely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everyone's honestly.
Any razzing?
Keep on saying no. Everyone's.
There were games happening on this
hazing?
past Sunday's episode, were there not?
Yes, that was quite terrifying, actually. I beat Michael Irvin in a egg race. That's an achievement of mine. Add that to the resume.
Well, you should know that I've been at this company since 2010. You've had more FaceTime with Michael Irvin than I have, so you're off to a great start here.
Well, I am a leader in the industry.
Really, we like to have people on to work out our own insecurities.
Listen, we can do a therapy session whenever you guys want.
That's not an insecurity.
That's why we've done 1,200 episodes. I mean, there's just a lot to get to.
All right. Yes, Rachel Bonnetta. She's the best. We're so happy to have her. Follow her on Twitter, Rachel Bonnetta. And that plug is dynamic. And we'll be back on Thursday night. Greggy, you will be on the TNF recap with, I think, Claybon. But you asked him in the newsroom, and he didn't seem too hot about it, but you kind of put him on the spot, so he said yes.
Get ready, listeners.
I don't think so. That's not a fair. He had to think about what he was doing that night. It is a big ask, so someone has to take some time out of their night.
Marc, you should know there was a little bit like, ooh, how do I play this from a social standing? And then Claybon said, I'll do it. So
a little trepidation. I understand.
What do you mean?
All right.
He's gonna.
You know exactly what I'm saying.
I think he's a straight shooter, though. If he didn't want to do it, he would tell me so.
Yeah. Ricky, did you have anything you wanted to add before we say goodbye?
No. I mean, on Split Ends this morning, Colleen and I had a celebrity astrologer from the Drew Barrymore show on, and we looked at some of the matchups for Halloween weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And after that conversation, which is dropping soon, I'm leaning towards the Cardinals winning this game, you guys.
Wow.
And I'm going to lock it up, too.
She must really.
Oh, no, Gregg. Oh, you got the old Tamposi curse attached to you now.
It's happened like 3 or 4 straight weeks. I feel like it's been a.
Can I say one thing about Ricky Hollywood?
Uh-oh.
Playing her in fantasy this week, and I was really excited because it's the first year in my life that I've done well at fantasy.
Yep.
And I'm trying to egg her on in the chat. And she's not answering, so I message her, and I'm like, hey, I'm trying to have some fun.
Yeah, sure.
Trying to make some friends here.
Sure.
This is what she said to me last night.
Oh, God.
7:53, timestamp. You suck at fantasy. Is your team a vacuum cleaner? Because it sucks. I remember my first fantasy league. Are you single? Because you can't even score.
Oh.
No, that's her being nice.
I beat her 130 to 90 points, and I didn't even – I was missing a wide receiver.
Oh, Ricky.
So here's what – yeah.
Why are you bad at so many things?
No, I'm so good at so many things, Dan. No, but this is a league. Shout out to Cynthia Freeland, love her to death. But she texts me maybe a couple hours before and was like, hey, we're trying to get teams filled. Just join. And I was like, all right, whatever. I was on a hike, and then I'm driving down Laurel Canyon Boulevard, drafting my team, and I totally forgot about it. And then I didn't even know you were messaging me on the app until you had.
Ricky,
so
can we pull it together?
Yeah, it was bad. It's bad.
Also, the league name is Lombardi Louboutins.
It's too bad. It's
I blocked that out. I blocked that part out, but I'm
but
enjoying
good win.
it.
You know I'm a fair sport, and
hey, thanks, pal.
Oh, yeah, we know that.
All right, good stuff. We'll be back. Yes, Thursday night recap, and of course the Saturday and around the NFL broadcast on the old network. We're doing huge numbers. Big numbers, so that's something to be excited about and proud of. And then the Sunday night flagship program, of course. Thank you to Rachel.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you to Gregg. Thank you to Marc. Thank you to the Kansas City Chiefs, my new favorite team. Nailed it.
Courageous.
Until Thursday, heed the call.